Welcome. My name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986, and I want to say thank you for tuning in. Today, I want to talk about addictions. Addictions in a way that, for some reason, we as a people are just doing things, say backwards, but we're seeing what's bad and we're thinking that it's good. And we're just trying to double down into that, thinking that we're going to get good from the bad. And that's just not the way that things work on this planet. Because that's just what I really understand when I see someone trying to explain something in a way that just can confuse a lot of people, because they're using addictions in an unhealthy way to make something appear to be a way. And that's something that's easy for me to be able to explain when it comes down to us as humans, but it's more complicated with the dogs. So I'll start with the easy way first. When you have an addict that's perfect. I don't care which one, but for some reason, the gambling one is the one that I've been exposing my world into of trying to figure out. I keep watching these things on the YouTube live things of people like in casinos, because I don't understand it personally. I don't understand the gambling stuff. So I try to watch the people to understand, like, what's going on with you? Why are you sitting in this slot machine that's a video game and you're hoping that you're going to win on a video game that can pretty much, it's going to let you know when it decides to win. You don't get a choice. The game is going to decide. It's a video game. It's not mechanical in any sort of way. So it's really fascinating to watch what's going on there. In the moment, people are excited. People are like, they're crazy excited. They're like, yeah, woohoo. Even when you almost get it, you're like, woohoo. When you get a little bit, you're like, woohoo. When you lose it all, you're like, woohoo, I have another chance. And they are so excited. They're like so happy. And them being happy, someone on the outside not knowing what's going on, but would just take a snap picture and see that person would say, wow, that's a healthy, happy person right there. They're looking really good. But to us as humans, as a conscious thinking being, we should be able to understand that looking at the context of what's going on here, that person is headed for destruction. They're not doing all that well. They're in pain, they're in agony in reality. They're suffering and struggling. But in that moment that they're playing that game, life it's bliss, it's amazing. It's the best of the best. But for some reason, we can understand that as people. We could see that when the person that's needing heroin right now, that's needing pain pills right now, when they have access to it and it's in their hands, they've been struggling and fighting and trying to get it. They're a little sad, a little depressed, a little uneasy. And then they finally get it. It's in their hands and they're doing what they're doing. The amount of joy that gets released when they have it, it's in their hands, is like if you would just take a snap picture of that person in that moment, you say, oh, that's a happy person. That person's doing good, because you could see like the rush of excitement, the chill, the love. Like they're just like, oh my goodness, I like this. This is great. This is amazing. You can see that in them. So if you just take a snap of that and you're like, again, a person doing absolutely amazing. But for some reason, when we do that to these dogs, we don't quite see it that way. We see a dog that's all excited, all crazy. And if you take a snap picture of that, it's going to say, oh, that dog is happy. That dog is good to go, not realizing that the dog is actually an addict. And the worst case scenario is we as the human are the dealer for that addict. So we're the ones that are able to give that animal that dose over and over and over. But what happens when you're not capable or able to give that dog that dose in that moment? You no longer see that excitement when that person at the casino finally loses all the money and then they have to go home. They're going to do some crazy stuff. In my opinion, they do crazy stuff the same way as the drug addicts do. They'll steal. They will take a human being's life to take money from them so they can go and get their fix again. They will manipulate. They will cheat. They will do whatever it takes to get that source to be able to go back and do that activity so they can get back into that excitement. And for some reason, again, we as humans see that as like clearly something's wrong here. But with the dogs, it's totally acceptable. It's fair game. We can keep the dogs in that state and keep forcing them in it over and over and over again. But then that's the problem that starts to happen with folks. Why is my dog doing some savage, mean, ruthless, crazy stuff? Because it's not getting its fix. And then someone could say to me, well, Mark, there's healthy addictions as well, right? We can have an addiction to something and it could be benefit for us. Again, I don't believe that that's true. That's a straight up like the trying to make bad be good. It doesn't work that way. Having an addiction to anything is no good. Just like someone could say is using your anger to help the world. You're not going to help the world at all or yourself with using anger. Anger is something of a negative sense. If you're coming at something to try to turn it into a positive sense using the negative sense, you're just never going to get to the positive. You're just going to keep double downing into negative. This is the stuff that I've been praying and asking for information. Why is this positive and punishment, positive and negative punishment, and this positive and negative reward so destructive to not only just the silly animals, I realize, but us as humans? Because the more that I understand it, the more I understand how to be able to help my life out, to get my life out of that, so that I can get out of addictions. I can get out of the addiction of food. I can get out of the addiction of lust. I can get out of the addiction of envy, of jealousy, of anger, of love even. My goodness, you could be addicted to love because you think that you're getting love, but you're not actually getting real love. You're getting fake, superficial, topical type stuff. You're not getting the true depths of what it is. Why, for me, someone left a very fascinating comment that I'm 100% on board, but I know the way that I speak, it's hard for anyone to understand this. I'm not for religion at all. Like zero, like organized religion. I'm like almost like, I don't want to say I'm against, but I'm just not for that at all. I don't have anything with that. Why? Because it's leading you to be addicted. You do not want to be addicted to God, to Jesus, to this world. You do not want to be addicted to a pastor, a minister, a priest. You do not want to be addicted to a human, even your own self. And that's what religion does. It creates addictions. It makes you to be an addict. If I do good, something good will come to me. If I do something bad's going to come to me. If some bad things going on in my life, it's because I'm doing bad stuff over there. You're addicted. And that is toxic. That is just straight up, at the end of the day, to the core of what it is evil. We're not going to be able to progress on these lands by living in addictions. And the addictions are the things that are, for me, I didn't quite understand, like, all of it. To me, and I would hope to be able to get more people to expand your brain on what addiction is. Because most cases, we say addiction, I just think of, oh, okay, it's a drug. It's a person that's using some sort of hard drug substance, alcohol to the point of being able to just survive, smoking a cigarette or a cigar or marijuana or any of that, or gambling or stuff like that. We think of it as just like that those are the only addictions. We think like that's it for addiction. We can't, all the rest of the stuff is like food. We can't possibly be addicted to food. We can't possibly, anything else. Because in reality, most of what we're doing on a day-to-day, we're actually addicted to most everything that's going on. Because we're not focused and paying attention to it. And that's where you're going to end up being controlled very easily by everyone else in the lanes. That's what's happening to us as human beings at the end of the day with what's going on with us. Is why it's easy for us to be in reactive mode. Why it's easy for us to be controlled, because we're addicted to everything we got going on. We're addicted to the cell phone. Not even just the phone itself, but what we're doing on the phone. We're addicted to, we have to keep looking. This is why, for me, something that I just don't approve of with stuff in my videos, because I see it happen in other people's videos. I don't want to ever say to somebody, please subscribe to me. I'm not going to do that, because then you can get addicted. I'm not going to say to like the video. Don't do that. I'm not going to say, well, sometimes I say I'll leave a comment on something going on in your life, but not on a comment of something that you want me to even talk about, because you can get addicted. You can get addicted to, did he talk about that message? Did he say this about this? And then you're watching and you're getting hooked into it. And then when something is finally said back to what it is, whatever information that you said, then now you get this high, you get this rush, like, oh yeah, see, I did. And then you want to do it again. And you get in this addictive loops. And that's the unfortunate thing that a lot of big YouTube channels do today, the same as the news stations do, the same as, it's like there's some of these channels I question personally. It's not a person running it. It's a team behind that is powerful to get you to buy and watch and do what it is that they do. They want you to be addicted. They want you to be hooked. They know how to make the key buzz sounds and the buzz words to get you to just stay focused. So you're focused on that, and then you can't look over there, anything else that's going on. It just keeps you addicted. Addicted to the point that you no longer know who you are, because you need that fix to be able to get you to understand who you are. A lot of these TV shows with all this stuff, why, unfortunately, a lot of the young ladies, y'all look all the same. A lot of your young guys, y'all all act all the same, because you're watching these shows and these channels and all this stuff that's getting you addicted to it. So then you think like, oh, if I'm not like them, then I'm not going to be able to get anything in this world. I have to be like them or else. You're addicted to it. You can't see a different way of life. And you're needing to keep watching it over and over and over and over. You can't get out of it. You can't get away from it, because you need that rush. You need that, like, that crazy level of excitement. You need all that madness going on inside of you. You absolutely need it. And if you don't have it, then you're in complete despair. You're completely sad. And worst case scenario is you start to do destructive things. You start to just lash out. You start to just be mean. You start to just get, a good word to use there, aggressive. Because exactly what happens to why we see a so-called aggressive dog. The dog's not aggressive. The human being itself is not aggressive. Stuff that we're doing is leading us to be that way, to display that. That's not who or what a person is. It's just what's lined up because of the addictions that you're a part of. Once you start to understand the addictions, and once you start to see it, stop trying to think that you're going to combat that addiction with another addiction. No, you just need to figure out a way to be able to realize what, straight up, is wrong with me that I need to this addiction. This is part with why, for me, it's complicated with working with these dogs and trying to get them to do stuff using this to get the dogs to be addicted, because they don't get a choice. They don't get a choice at all. Us as humans, we at least get the choice to say, I want to shut it off. I don't want to do it anymore. We have that choice, but the animals don't. The animals just have no choice but to just live and do what it is they do. They have no choice. And please, it's just something that's fascinating to me. Everyone's always talking, oh, the animal does it to the animal, so we can do it to the animal. This is how dogs treat each other, so we can treat the dog the same way. This is how the cows treat each other, so we can treat the cows the same way. That's not how this world works. Because if the way we want to look at it like that, then in reality, we should be living in peace and harmony. There should be everything that's almost like pretty much perfect and flawless at the end of the day. Because they figure out their dispute like that, and then we move on. But no, that's not what us as humans do. We keep going and going and going and going and just going, because we can't get out of the addiction because of our thinking process that just gets consumed and stuck in it. Where the animals, when they're on the freedom to do what they do, they don't turn to addicts. Us as humans do. And us as humans create these animals to turn into addicts. And that's the unfortunate thing, that we cheered on thinking like everything is good and everything is fun and everything is okay. Because it seems like what we're doing is making that said person or that animal happy. Just because it looks happy in that snapshot picture doesn't mean that that's what it is. And that's what's getting sold to us as lies today. You see someone that looks happy, not knowing what is going on behind to be able to get that person to look and to be that way. That's why at the end of the day, something that is very interesting on people that are more calm, more stable, animals that are more calm, more stable. To us today, we see that as like a perception of that snapshot that we see is that person or that dog is depressed. It's sad. There's something wrong with it. Because today, what's normalized is being in this very, very high level of addiction, that we have to see that extreme excitement. And if we don't have that extreme excitement, then something's wrong. And that's the part where we're trying to make bad be good. And that's just, it's horrible to live that way. It's horrible to live that way. But for some reason, we want to start to try to cheer it on like everything is good. And something simple that happens. I mean, very interesting conversation with my daughter this Saturday on the concept of driving home, and I give me my gummy bears. I'm addicted to sugar, the same way that probably most people on this planet is addicted to sugar. And I'm hungry. She knows I'm hungry, and she's hungry. And I'm about to dip in and eat some of these gummy bears. Those are gummy worms. I like the worms over the bears. I don't know why. It's very strange. But and she's like, oh, Dad, you can't eat that right now. You can have that after dinner. And I'm like, what? Who are you talking to like that? But then I had to listen and say, okay, let me see about this, because I know when I eat one, I eat two. When I eat two, I eat four. When I eat four, I eat the whole package. Straight up. It's just how it happens. And so I'm like, okay, let me take this girl's advice right now, of advice that any parent would give any child. You can't have a treat until you after you eat your food. And it's not just a thing of just straight up trying to be a parent of trying to even say do the right thing. But science has proven that eating sugar on an empty stomach is disastrous to us. It is not a great thing for us to do. And then we want to try to push it off somewhere else, saying, no, it's this is why I'm gaining weight. This is over here, as opposed to just realizing that it's the small habits that now we're addicted to. So I get home and I open that package up and I eat one. I say, I need one while I'm cooking this food. And one turned into two, and two turned into four, and at least I stopped at about 16 or so. I didn't eat the whole bag, but I ate enough to pretty much eat the whole bag. Of once you start to dip into it, I'm like, ooh, this is exciting. And I took that first dose. It's exciting. I'm happy. You see me. You can take that picture and say, oh, that guy's looking pretty good right now. Not realizing that the destructiveness is actually happening, that's going on behind closed doors. that little dose right there may not be anything today. And that's how addiction works. It's not that strong at first. It's not that noticeable at first. It takes time. It takes time. It takes a lot of time. And with food, it takes some people, it's faster than others. But most people, it's a couple of years. And most of us, it's when you hit your like what? Your 30s, your 40s, your 50s. That little bit of sugar that you eat because you're not eating balanced anymore. You're not eating in a said healthy manner. You're eating in an addictive way. Your body's going to start to display that. It's going to start to show it. You're going to start to have extraness all over the place on you. It didn't happen at first. And you're 20, you can do whatever you want. You're 25, you can do whatever you want. Because it's not that you could do whatever you want. It's now your addiction isn't catching up to you yet. At some point, your addiction is going to catch up. And then at some point, your addiction is going to take over. And at some point, when it finally takes over, it's not going to be so easy to just, oh, I just want to get out of that now. And that's why people, you give up on, said, your dog when you're working with it. Because as soon as it's addicted, you can't just take that out of it no more. It doesn't happen overnight. It could take, the way that I always look at life. If I've been doing something for 3 years to something, it's going to take me 3 years, if not 6 years, to get it out of it. It's going to take me the same, if not double, to get them to get out of what it is that I'm in. And that's how I look at it with my border collie. For 5 years, I was treating him a certain way. It's going to take me 10 years, worst case, but at least 5 years to switch what it is that we've had going on. That's why everything is different with, like I said, these two animals, because I've always done things completely different. When I would see the overexcitement of that addiction, I scratched. I said, nope, we're not doing that. That's why this dog never gets to play with a ball and string much at all. It's very, very rare today because he's addicted to it. He has this it's this obsession. And someone will look at it and say, oh, he looks good. He's happy. His drive, he's got high, he's got night. No one gets to see him in drive because I don't want him to get into that in his real hard drive. Even her, I don't want her to get into the hard because it's not healthy. It's not healthy at all for the animal. They're not even thinking. They're going just insane. His eyes go insane. But yet we want to show that and cheer that on today is like, that's cool. That's the cool thing to do. The dogs are looking good. It's not healthy. And it's like us being addicted to that to run away from the addictions that we have. If I can keep my dog, because it's something that is, my goodness, I can't stand this. And it is what it is, but I can't stand this about certain human behaviors that we have. That we push the buttons of these dogs, try to get them to be all happy, just so that you can see that to feel good, to make yourself feel away. And then you just leave the dog. And then the dog is happy looking at you like, well, what are we doing? And you got them all riled up, all excited, just so that you could sit down and watch TV and do nothing with it. Just so that you can feel good at seeing how happy that it is. Now you got your addiction fixed. Now you're creating addiction in the other part of your life that it's not going to be so easy to just make disappear. That's just what's going on in this world. That we're all addicted to stuff, and we're just looking at someone else as their addiction is wrong and mine is fine because I'm not at that stage. I'm not in that case. And or you're not looking at the mass majority of addictions that you have right now and thinking that they are. You're thinking, oh, addiction is only if I'm day drinking and have to drink to be able to function and do anything in life. That's not the only thing that addiction entails. Because in reality, the first thing that we should start to really do to self-reflect on what's going on in our lives is wake up in the morning, and it's the first thing that you start doing. See, if I don't do this morning, am I going to be fine today? If you don't do it and you start to get frustrated, irritated, angry, mad, you're addicted to it. You're straight up addicted to it. If you this is something simple but wild. If you don't because I make my bed every morning. I don't know how not to because I like to be able to get into bed and the sheets are perfect. But I'm not addicted to it that if I don't do it, I'm not like gonna have this meltdown, this like thinking about it still now. It's like, whatever, it's okay. I just do it to do it. But if you don't do it and you can't like move on with your day, if you're at work, you don't make your bed in the morning and you're at work and you're just like, oh man, I didn't make it, what I'm gonna do? And the first thing you do is rush to get home and you get in your bedroom and you make it, there's something wrong going on here. And you need to start to assess like, what's happening? Why am I drawn to this so much that I can't even function without doing it? You're addicted to it. There's a lot of that goes on our day-to-day. It's not just about drugs and alcohol and gambling. There's a lot more to that, so much more. If you don't park your car the right way, you don't get the right parking spot, if you don't catch the light at the right time, if you don't put your makeup on the right way, if you don't have the right this, the right that your day is done right away from the morning because of this one little thing is not correct. You have an unhealthy addiction to something that you should really like take a hard look at yourself of what's going on right now. If you're going to go to the store and buy your food and they were out of something and you couldn't get it and it just throws you off, it puts you into a rage, you're addicted to it. Maybe you should think about, maybe I should like assess what I should start to do next here, because I'm headed into absolute disaster with what's going on right now. You're addicted. And being addicted is tragedy in reality, because now you're very, very easily able to be controlled. And some people, some dogs, for instance, like the control. They love the control. They're cool with it, but others don't. And the others that don't, those are the ones that are going to start to, you're going to start to have lots of problems with. I mean, so much problems that you're going to be very, very, very confused of what to even do. Because when you're trying to work with an addict, it's almost an impossible thing to do if the other person doesn't actually want to get better. And that's a thing that I'm questioning with these animals. Some of these animals that we drive to be addicted, I think that they prefer that after a while, because that's all that they know. And they don't want to do it a different way. And that leads to just crazy madness. And that's the thing that I see in a lot of like shepherds, a lot of these males, a lot of these like working dogs that we're using for sports and stuff. They are addicted to the addiction, and they don't want anything other than that addiction. And they thrive off of that addiction. They need that addiction to be able to survive. They think they need that addiction, and they don't want any other way. Some human beings, they can go through therapy, they can go through interventions, they can go through all this stuff, and they can get better. But some humans, they want nothing to do but stay in that addiction. They don't care. I mean, I mean, here in the United States, it's getting devastating in reality. Looking at some of these big cities, these people are just, they're addicted to the point they don't care. That they are allowing their flesh to start to deteriorate. They're dying on the streets, staying in and sleeping in the middle of the roads with nothing, just to keep getting more and more and more, that they do not want to get out of that addiction. They are fine, and in reality, straight up, as messed up as this may sound, they are happy with being addicted. That's why some people, that's most all people in reality, we can't help each other with our addictions. We can only do it ourselves. If you see a family member that's addicted, the last thing to actually help that family member is to like go and say, hey, you're addicted to this, let me help you. They are going to destroy you. They are going to take everything from you. And they are not only just gonna, you're not gonna see them get any better, they're gonna start to get you addicted to things that you're just gonna wish in the end, like, I wish I would have never even helped out. Because you're trying to go into something that you can't do anything for. And that's the unfortunate thing with a lot of these animals. We put them in that stance. We get them to be there. And then they look at us like, this is all that I want. This is all that I care for. And then we're trying to tell them not to do that later on. And you're going to be living in absolute agony. And a lot of it happens from straight up how we work said dogs is gambling. We work on it the same way as gamblers work. I'll give you a little bit, okay. I'll give you a little bit, okay. Okay, now you didn't win. Oh, you won. You didn't win. Oh, you won. You didn't win. Oh, you won. And they just keep doing that. And they get addicted to that. And then they're willing to play that game pretty much all day long on that slim chance that they might win. And then what happens is you're going to end up burning out. You're going to end up running into a stance that you're going to need more. And it's not just going to go away that it's good to go. No, you're going to keep needing more and more and more. And that's what we do to these guys. We just keep forcing them, pushing them, and driving them, and just being ruthless to them. Oh, you didn't do it. You did good. You didn't do it. You did good. Same with us as humans right away in kindergarten. You didn't do it. You did good. You did good. You did good. You did good. And it always starts off that way. How do toxic relationships always start off? Anyone that's ever been in something extremely crazy, it always starts off with the one person is super charming, super amazing, the yes man, the yes girl, always good. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Everything is so great for like a month or three. And then all of a sudden it turns into like, I hate you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I hate you. And then more and more of the hate starts to come in. More and more of the disrespect starts to come in. And then now they just give you a little bit of love. And now you're hooked because you're wishing and hoping for that little bit of love, even though they're treating you like crap for year after year after year. You're hoping for that little bit in there. No, that person isn't there for you. They got you hooked. They got you stuck. And then they're going to let it go. And then now here we are. And that's what we do with the dog the day one we get the dang dog out of the rescue or the shelter or from the breeder. Right away we do that. Good, 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 good. Everything is good. And then all of a sudden you quit. And now you're like, I don't like that. Fix that. No, I don't like that. Fix that. Oh, good, 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 good. Fix that. Fix that. Fix. And then it just turns into, there's no more good out of it. It's all just fix everything because I can't stand what's going on with you. And now you're in an extremely toxic relationship, all out of creating something, not only your own self, but something else to be an addict. And it's disastrous. That's the thing of me of why I'm really paying close attention to the positive, negative of the punishment and the positive, negative of the reward. It creates addiction. That's all that it does. It creates addictions. It creates you to be addicted to something that it's going to be extremely hard for you to get yourself out of. Very hard to get out of. Because once you start to get a new normal of life, you don't want to change from it. You just want to stay in it because you don't know or believe or see any other way. You're stuck in that. And that's why for me, at the end of the day, what I speak to a lot of people, you don't want to change. You want to just keep doing what you're doing because you're excited about the addiction. You don't want to learn how to get out of it. You like the loops. Super excited and a little sad, super excited and a little sad. That's not what I want to straight up use the word of is healthy. Healthy is stability, is stable. Is being able to fluctuate and understand on why I'm excited and knowing that if I didn't get this, I would still be excited. Why isn't this so exciting? And knowing that if it still happened, how to be able to understand that you're just stable. You're in the middle at all times. Swinging from both sides all the time, that's a very, very unstable person. That's why we have like theme parks and all this stuff to force you to get excited. We got to go to the clubs and the bars and all this stuff. This is exciting. Woohoo! Let's go drink. Let's go party. Let's go have fun. Because you need that. You're addicted to that to get that excitement. And then if you don't get it, you're hurt. You're bummed. You're mad. You're sad. You're irritated. You're all this stuff. That's what we do with work. Work's not so much like this anymore. But work was kind of ruthless in reality. You know, you got your paid time off. You got your vacation. They make it sound good. They make it sound nice. You get all this time off. You get this and they make it sound like it's nice and pretty. But all it is leading you to be addicted. You're going to work hard to just get this one little dose of feel goods. I finally got it. I finally did it. And you finally get it. Then you go back and you work. And that's all that happens. And 50 years later, what do you get? A watch. I used to kind of joke about that, but that's actually reality, the truth about it. That's the truth. What happens in the end? You work 50 years for that company. They give you a watch. And they got you addicted to doing that and not being able to see a different way. Another option. You're just hooked. You can't see a different way. That's what's going on. They're giving you the positive rewards over and over and over. Make you feel good. Make you feel good. Make you feel good. And then they'll give you a negative reward. Say, oh no. I don't like that one. And then that negative reward can start to turn into that positive level of punishment now. Oh no. And then that positive punishment, you're like, we don't need to go that far. Now we'll use that negative punishment. And when you really, really understand what each of those 4 quadrants are, you'll start to understand where it all starts from. It starts from the positive reward. Constant. And then it goes to the negative reward of, oh, nope, no, you didn't do it. So now you get every other. And now it's like, oh, now every other. Now you're still messing up. Now I got to start giving you lashes. Lashes have to start coming. And then, now you're not doing it. Now I'm just going to go ahead. You're kicked out. You're kicked out of the party. You're kicked out of the club. You're kicked out of the group. You're fired. And that's the worst case right there in reality for us as humans is we're fired. But yet we use that today as if it's like it's good for motivation, as it's stated. It's good to continue to keep on forcing you to try to do better, to try to do more. So then once you got that negative punishment out of there, you're like, oh, let's get back to the positive reward. And then you go there. Okay, good. It's just you're floating all in there. And you're creating addictions, not anything of value to actually be able to get you to be good. Thank you. Y'all over here sleeping. I appreciate that. Take advantage. Take advantage of that downtime. Just relax. That's the biggest thing that I noticed with both of these dogs right here in specific. We're about to go here in a second. Both of these guys, they were both extremely addicted to what it is that they were going on in life. This Dalmatian here was addicted to killing chickens, it was like, she thought it was her mission. She's like, this is what I have to do. And it wasn't healthy. When she was in the middle of it, she was excited. But when it was over with, she's like sad and hurt and bummed out. Because in reality, what goes on with that is what someone was treating her and showing her is if you do that, you're wrong. But in the middle of doing it, she's getting the good. So she started to become addicted to it. Her positive was getting here, and then the negative started to kick in. They started bouncing back and forth, and she got addicted to it. And she didn't want to get out of it. And I had to work on her through that addiction. That's all that I look at with said dog training today. Like, especially just the past couple of days that I just really have been thinking hard about addiction. I'm no longer training dogs. I'm helping dogs through their addictions. And when I help the dog through the addiction, I now have a stable, calm, relaxed, patient, amazing dog. I no longer have something that I'm unsure what is going to happen. When I help them and work them through their addictions. They have addictions that they have problems with. And the beauty of it, if you get a young enough dog and you work with it the right way, without even getting it to get into an addictive mindset, you're going to have an amazing experience. But most of these dogs we get, they have issues with being addicted to something. And I want to find out what you're addicted to and help you get through that. And this dog here, he was just obsessed over, I got to bark at people. I got to get dogs out of here. I got to get stuff out of here. And he was obsessed over his ball and string. I don't know what it is about these shepherds and this ball and string, but this boy, I could get him into extreme drive with the ball and a string. I mean, sometimes even a rock. I could just throw it and you could watch him just switch into like, and that's his addiction kicks in. He's much better today because I haven't been forcing that addiction in him anymore, but it's still slightly in there. And him having to bark at people and bark at dogs, that's pretty much gone away. I got him through that addiction. His addiction was like, yeah, this is great. And then he would like get the positive and then he would get a negative. He would get the positive, then he would get a negative, going back and forth. And then now he's hooked. He's hooked. He's an addict. And then I had to break that. And I broke that. And now he's like, okay, we're good. Now he's stable. Now he's calm. These dogs are addicted. That's why they're anxious. That's why they're fearful. They have all these stuff because they're addicted. That's why they're overexcited because they're addicted. It's an addiction that's going on that's driving these animals to be absolutely insane. But once you start to work them through that, you find calm. And it's cool. Dog, I don't know what it is, man. Dogs are just impressive. They are impressive to me on how I can work them through an extreme addiction and watch them actually get results and do it to them in a way that even if they say to me, I still want to do that, to say to him, no, we're not doing that. So the intervention, where I'm not giving them a choice. Again, a human has to want it. If they don't want to change, they don't want to do it, move on. Don't even worry. You can't do nothing for them. It sucks if it's your family. It sucks if it's your child. But you can't do nothing for them if they don't want it. But with the dogs, most cases, I still have yet to see one that's like, I want to stay, but there's probably that one out there. But the dogs, they will change. They will fight us a little bit, but they are willing to still go even through that fight. Where a human that fights, no, don't even attempt it. But they're so impressive that I can get them through their addictions. And it just lets me see like the beauty of how I know us as humans can do the same thing. It's going to be maybe much harder and much longer for us as humans, but we can do it. The way that I'm able to see all these animals, but especially the dog, is able to get through it. That's why I'll talk about that tomorrow, certain channels and people I recommend with talking and looking at stuff, is they're helping the animals and not only that, but us to get through addictions, to actually be able to find that peace that we're looking for. You're not going to find peace if you're addicted to stuff. It's going to be impossible. Pretty much, it's an impossible task because you're always going to be looking over your shoulder.